The next control statement we will talk about is the for loop. Okay. The syntax for the for loop is initialization. You already seen this in the Java course, I believe. Condition and update. There all could be expressions, but I just gave a different name so you understand what they all. Okay, the very first step when you execute a for loop is it jumps to the first part, which is the initialization. Okay, this will do only once at the beginning of the for loop. In case you have some statements to be executed, you can put it here. For instance, I equal to 0, y equal to 10. So all these statements can go in the initialization part. Okay. Basically, these are needed to run the for loop. Alright, that's first step 1. Remember, this will only execute once, not every time. Okay, only once. Go back here. Then the next step is you'll check the condition. Is the condition true to execute this block? So the condition should be true, right? Condition. The conditions pretty much are, say, x less than 10 or y less than 40. It could be any of these conditional expressions. Maybe y is greater than 10, x equal 20. So all these conditions should be met. All right. Okay, and this condition should be met for every iteration. Remember that, for every iteration. For every iteration, it will check the condition. If it is true, it will execute this block. If it is true, it will execute this block. Okay, or enter the block. If it is false, it will come out. All right, and then it will execute. Let's pretend this is the third step. For every iteration this is true, this will execute. Okay, so the 2 and 3 will go together. Remember that. You already seen this in Java course. Okay, at the end of this for loop, the block, it will go back and check. It'll go back and update these variables if you have mentioned anything here. Step 4. Right? So that finishes one iteration. One iteration. Oh, my thing is suddenly acting weird. Okay, one iteration is very first time, only once it will execute the initialization part, then it will check the condition. If it is true, it will execute the block 3, the block, just step 3, and at the end of all the statements, when it's finished, that constitutes one iteration. It will go and update the variables. So that's step 4. These are semicolon. Do not forget them. And they are so cryptic, sometimes when you write code, sometimes you might miss the semicolons and end up having problems. Okay, so once this is done, it'll go back to 2 and check the condition. Alright, so just to iterate, we'll go here, first initialization, okay, step 1, step 2 is check the conditions. You can have many conditions, everything should be true. Then third is execute the block if true. Okay, number 4, update the variables if any. Sometimes you can keep it empty too, it won't update, it will go back and check the condition. So this entire sequence is done again and again and again and again. Okay, it will come here, it will come here, then go back and check the condition. If it's true, execute, update the variables. Next iteration, check the condition, execute the block. If it's true, update. Next iteration, check the condition. If it falls, then it gets out. So that is how the for loop works. Alright, so pause the video and see how it's done. I'll again summarize for you. Initialization is done once, that's it. This is only done once, like I mentioned here. It's done once, only once. And then step 2, it checks the condition. Step 3, it executes the block if the condition is true. Fourth step, updates the variables also, you can put variables, and goes back and checks the condition. Okay, that's one. Oh, 1 second. So I'll paste it here to our PowerPoint. Okay, going back to our some of the stuff that we need to clarify. The difference between a while loop and a for loop is very simple. You can pretty much use one of them to accomplish the task. The only difference is, other than the syntax, how we do things, is while loop will run, may run, or while can run indefinitely. We really don't know indefinitely all the time until the condition is true. Okay, it'll run all the time. If the condition is false, it'll exit. So we really don't know the number of loops it'll run. Number of loops it runs is unknown. Remember that. So and in case of for loop, the number of loops it runs is known. Remember that. For instance, the syntax could be for I equal to 0, I less than 100, I equal to I plus 1. It's update, right? And we have block. So we know for sure it will run 99 times, because from 0 to 99 it'll run 100 times. We know that for sure. Whereas in this case, we don't know when the condition will be met. So this is a very, very vital difference between while loop and a for loop. While loop, the number of iterations it runs is unknown, whereas in a for loop, it's known. That is one difference, other than the syntax, of course. That's all to it. We'll take example, simple example. For the, okay, as usual we'll type little faster. You guys can pause the video if I'm going fast, but the idea is to show you. Okay, for I equal to 0, you still have to it's always better to initialize the variables. Okay, I less than 100 is the condition, I equal to I plus 1. Sometimes I can put I plus plus, but I usually put I equal to I plus 1. In future we'll change that. So I'm going to say print the number, the current iteration is that I. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. Alright. I'm going to save it, compile it. Oh, sorry. Alright. Out. So it ran 99 times. Sorry. It ran 99 times and stopped. Alright. Let me cut down this guy. Okay, let me reduce the size. Oops. A little further. Okay, so you can see the whole thing. Now I can, in the for loop, I can also reverse 100, I greater than 0, I equal to I minus 1. Suppose you want to traverse from the top to bottom, right? Okay. So how do we do that? Again, compile it. So it went all the way up to, from 99 we came down to 0. So if we want to traverse every other even numbers, how do we do that? Just 2, alright, or odd numbers or even numbers. So -2, if you do that, so we get all the even numbers. See that? So if you want to traverse even numbers, if you want to skip every other number, it's also same. If you want to skip let's say every skip all even numbers, so you start from 99. That's it. So you skipped all the even numbers. So you can manipulate this loop the way you want, basically. So that's finishes the for loop. Okay, thank you.